Hi, Christopher Valentine here with the legendary Dan Haggerty, star of Grizzly Adams. Now, I remember, Dan, watching this show when I was little, and it was just so picturesque. It seemed like you were up on a mountain in the middle of nowhere. Where was that shot, by the way?
We filmed it in Park City, Utah.
Okay.
And when the ratings came in, it was terrific. And then being up in Park City, when it got a little deep with snow, they saw that the ratings weren't quite as successful. So they said, well, the people that are watching these shows from New York and Chicago aren't crazy about big, deep snow. Mm-hmm. So we went to Ruidoso, New Mexico, and Payson, Arizona. So we had Park City, Ruidoso, and Payson, and we filmed in 3 different spots during the show.
Well, it all looked the same to me. You have
yeah.
the guy with the cabin. We were talking earlier, and you said you never had hardly any women, though, come, or if they did, they never stayed, because I remember some episodes where a woman would visit you, but basically the story is about what? You're connecting with, I mean, you're out in nature, of course, the bear is
well, the story was, not to interrupt you, but the thing was, he's a real living guy. James Cape Adams is a real living legend.
I didn't know that.
A lot of people don't know it.
Okay.
Our state flag, the California state flag with the bear on it, was dedicated to Grizzly Adams.
I did not know that either.
He was the first guy to ever bring wild animals to the Barnum and Bailey Circus.
When was that? That must have been a long time ago, because they've
Well,
been on this for a while, right?
Late 1800s, yeah.
Okay.
And Barnum heard about this guy that lived in the woods with bears. Now, he was falsely accused of killing his wife's lover. He had a daughter named Peg, who was 7 years old. He came home one day. He was a tinker, a tinsmith. Wasn't an animal trainer or a big mountain guy. He was just a guy that lived in a little country town, happened to come home at lunch, and his wife was fooling around with a wealthy guy, and all of a sudden they got in a fight, and he hit the guy, and the guy fell down and hit his head on an anvil, and he died. Oh, all of a sudden, he had to look at his daughter, and he's going, look, Mom and I aren't getting along, and her boyfriend is not doing so well, and I've got to get out of town. Now, I love you, honey, but I've got to leave. So he really left, not knowing anything about the woods, and befriended a little bear cub as he watched this female grizzly bear being attacked by a big male because the male wanted to kill the cub. Mm-hmm. And he watched this fight, and when the big rogue bear killed the female, it walked off, and he was left with this little bear cub. And he said, I guess it's you and me. I don't have a family. And all of a sudden, he and this bear became the best of friends. The bear's name was Martha Washington, after George Washington's wife. In the TV show, they made me call the bear Ben. They said, right, we can't have you living in the woods with a female bear. And I'm going, you gotta be kidding me, man. I mean, is it better that the kids find out I live with a transvestite bear as they get older? So it was very funny. But at the same time, it all worked out. And then Grizzly Adams' female bear had cubs because it wandered, came free anytime it wanted to come and go. And all of a sudden, this guy had 3 grizzly bears, and he used them as pack animals, like a burro, but he didn't have burros, so he had his skins and his pots and his pans. And Barnum heard about this guy that lived in the woods through the Indians that had 3 giant grizzly bears. They sent an Indian out there to see if they could talk him into bringing his bears to the circus. He said, tell Mr. Bailey that if he gets me an attorney and clears me my crime, I'll bring the bears to the Barnum and Bailey circus. They did that. He got to meet his daughter Peg, who was 21 years old at the time. He got to meet his brother, who he hadn't seen for a long time, and he was the first guy to ever bring wild animals to the Barnum and Bailey circus.
Go ahead. I was going to say, didn't you, as your character, have kids on the show too?
I never remember. Well, everybody would travel through. It was like, this week, who's going to come through a family that has a blind daughter that falls out of a wagon and the bear finds him, and but nobody ever really stayed,
Oh, I see.
And what they did was they ran a survey on it, and they said, nobody wants you to fall in love because all the housewives think that if they broke down outside, who would be walking out of the woods but you? And I'm going, really? So that's why I never had a wife or a girlfriend.
And back to that bear story, was it a female bear actually playing a male bear?
Yes.
So Hollywood. We didn't
The bear's name was Bose, and we have a ranch. I was an animal trainer for 18 to 20 years. I worked with, Walt Disney. I worked with Cy Weintraub. I did all the animal work for the Tarzan TV show, a lot of Disney films and things like that. And I was discovered. I've never had an agent or a manager. It just so happened that I was doing a film in Canada called The Snow Tigers, and I was catching an 800-pound Siberian tiger off a horseback with a net, and the studio said, now that guy could be Grizzly Adams. They'd made Grizzly Adams once before with another actor. They shelved it. They didn't like it, and they found me, and they said, would you like to do this TV show? And I said, I guess.
Did you have any television experience at that time?
Oh, I did. I did other movies. I did Muscle Beach Party and Girl Crazy. With a couple movies with Annette Funicello. And
that was right here in Malibu, wasn't it? Because with that Paradise Beach Cafe, it's a famous restaurant that you can go to now, and I'm telling you, every single movie that you can think of, from Beach Blanket Bingo and they're still filming there. We were there like a few months ago, and it's just you pop in and there's film crews everywhere, and it's where all the Annette Funicello, Frankie Avalon movies were made, and then Tammy, who played Tammy? Well, there's so many people that played her. The blonde woman.
Yeah, I know. It's
Sandra Dee.
Sandra Dee.
All those movies were filmed right there. So you did that. That was what was.
I must say.
You were in those movies. What was it like? That's
the
dream.
I was Biff. I'm the first guy to ever keep Annette Funicello out all night. Oh my God.
Our Disney sweetheart. My goodness.
That was incredible. Those were great moments, and I did Girl Crazy with Elvis Presely.
Yes.
And I did some other films, bike films. I used to build a lot of motorcycles.
Where was Girl Crazy filmed?
Girl Crazy was filmed at MGM.
Okay.
And I got to meet Elvis, and that was a very nice thing. And then
he's a nice guy, isn't he?
He's wonderful.
It seems like every time you see him in every scene, even behind the stuff, he's just so nice to everybody.
Simple, clean, very, very pleasant. And then Anne Margaret and I became very good friends, and I built some bikes for Anne Margaret when she was doing her shows in Vegas. So in between motorcycles and stunts and animals, I ended up in the movie business.
Are you making movies now? Are you working on stuff?
I just finished a film with Rob Snyder called Big Stan, and I'm getting ready to do a film. We're doing a film called The Legend, where I play Grizzly Adams' great-grandson. So it's very, very, it's entertaining. It takes place today, starts in Florida, ends up in Michigan, ends up in Alaska, and so it's like yesterday, today, and tomorrow in it. So it's kind of a nice little project. And I've got a log cabin company I work with called Pioneer Log Homes. So if any of you people love a beautiful log home, pioneerloghomes.com.
We do. Oh, that's excellent. Well, we have a place in the mountains too. Maybe it was subconsciously from watching the Grizzly Adams show, but we have a very nice little log cabin in North Carolina, and it's good to know because a lot of people want to build their own little dream house. Right. It's not too expensive as long as you don't get like crazy with all these different wings and decks and everything. It can be pretty affordable, and you're out in nature. You're close to nature. Did you feel close when you were filming Grizzly Adams? Because we do talk about nature spirits on our show, like gnomes, elves, and fairies, and a lot of people like to be outdoors, and
there's nothing more mystical and magical, and it's a dream sequence of life. I mean, for me to get up and go to work in God's backyard with grizzly bears and eagles and beautiful people, it was like a dream come true. And if you don't get a little bit of mysticism out of nature and how beautiful it is, then there's something wrong with it.
I know. If we didn't have the trees and the streams, where would we be? Just the other day, my boy flies birds. He flies falcons and eagles and things like that. And he came in, he goes, look at that. And what is it? He goes, a baby hummingbird. I'm going, it was just so teeny. And hummingbirds make their nests out of spider webs. They take all the little spider webs that they say. I didn't know that.
Oh, it's incredible. And he found this little nest. It was just this like little down spider web, like love hut, that these little hummingbirds are going, oh my God. So from the smallest to the biggest, if you don't love them all with a little water, a little snow, rainbow, what better life is there than that?
Did you feel safe filming with the bear? Is that safe to do, first of all? This whole story of Grizzly Adams is like, gosh, is that real? I mean, we hear about...
This is the deal. Working with the bear, it's like being married. It has its moments. Anything with teeth and claws, be careful. Okay?
Okay. Well, I think the men will appreciate that more. That's very funny. And we're talking about Paradise Cafe and filming there. It's so bright and beautiful. Do they use a lot of lighting, though, anyways? Because you see those sets where they're making movies. You still need a lot of lighting, right?
Well, you know, I mean, flat light, soft light, in between. I like natural light. But working at the beach, I'm working with a guy by the name of Michael Burt who did Baywatch. And they're working on another show that they call me about called Hot Water. They're going to shoot in Florida and things like that. But natural light and reflecting of light is very important. You know, you don't like light too hot. You know, you like it to feel like you're there. You know. Now, for all you people that might see this show, I'm going to give you a little hint. You don't want to blink your eyes when you're working on camera. You want to keep them bright and open, and you don't want to squint. So before you take a picture, close your eyes, look at the sun, count to 20, and then you tell the photographer, I'm going to open them at 19, here we go. And you will not squint. Just a little treat.
Oh, we love those behind the scenes stuff there.
Okay.
Well, Dan, I want to thank you so much for appearing on the show.
Thanks.
It was such a pleasure. You've got so many great stories. And,
thanks for having me.
We just love you.
Thank you very much. God bless you. Be safe. Have a great holiday.